Evening, folks. Just trying to get Coops on.
Can you hear me, mate?
I can hear you. There he is. He's worked out what he's doing.
Not really. I'm still sussing it out, but hold on, give me 2 secs. I need to get it on my phone as well.
Yeah.
This is exciting, isn't it?
It is. Yeah. It is indeed.
And what 2 brilliant matches we've got here. Dean Griffin.
Yeah, Dean that's what I've got, yeah.
Dean the Machine Griffin, I have you know.
Yeah.
And
don't forget, of course, he's already played one game and he absolutely battered Illingworth.
Yeah.
12-3 or something.
Yeah, that must have been a bit of a shock, actually, because when you put your points predictions up, you had Illingworth as your tip for the top.
Yeah.
But Dean's on the Ultimate Pool Tour now, so he's obviously, as a result of entering and paying his money, that automatically makes him a really good player.
That is absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. Just the status symbol of being an Ultimate Pro. Well, sorry, Ultimate Challenger. Fair play to him. As Tedzy said, if you've got the money to go on it, then why not?
Right. He's a pool's worth. If he loves pool, fair play to him. Fair play to him. But by the same token, I reckon he must be getting better, because I would have had Illingworth to win that. No disrespect to Dean. Even though Illingworth can be.
Jesus Christ, he missed that. He missed that one by an absolute mile.
I changed my mind. Illingworth should have hammered him.
That was ridiculous. He's got lucky by putting the black over the old colour and that yellow. Wow.
That's what being on the Ultimate Pool Tour does for you.
I watched a bit of the match, and Tony messaged me going, "Oh, the lighting on here is shocking." And I'm thinking, I don't think the lighting's got anything to do with it, Tony. You're just playing badly, mate.
Do you know what? Luke Clinton's good for excuses, and I don't even think he's used that one yet.
No, the old lighting. He sent me a picture of his light and the table where Paul Houghton was playing. And admittedly, they did look like it was not as light, but really, nice shot there from Matt. It's going to make that 1-1. So we've got a bit of an agenda going tonight. We've got just have a look at that. Will's playing Mark in here. Yeah. I don't know what's going on with your screen. I've got like a little screen inside my screen for some reason. Never usually has that.
Oh, I wouldn't know if it's normal or not, mate, because it's the first time I've been on it.
Yeah, it's not normal, but it's in the way a little bit, but it is what it is. So we've got a bit of an agenda that we're talking about tonight. We'll start.
I can see, but just before we carry on, I can see we've got 10 viewers, which is probably a record for these games already, isn't it? I get the impression that people are going to start logging in today because they want to hear what we've got to say for ourselves, and whether they're going to be the subject of any abuse.
Exactly. Well, we've got 7 on Wellingborough on Bucks one, and I think there's 10 on the Wellingborough one, and some people go straight into YouTube as well. So yeah, there'll be a few people there. Stick your thumbs up, boys, if you're watching. Let's see who's listening. Put any comments in if you want something for us to talk about. But first of all, I think we're definitely going to talk about the Wellingborough Q Sports in general and the new arena, and what Lee and the crew have done there. Done a fantastic job. I think everyone will agree. That downstairs is a joy to play in. Jason Braze is watching.
Absolutely, mate. When I saw the pictures, I was actually away last week, but when I saw the pictures of what it looked like, it looked amazing. When you go, as we do, we've been around the country playing tours and all that kind of stuff, and a lot of pool halls are good. But when you saw the pictures of that, it looked unreal. But seeing it yesterday, actually in the flesh, it was even better. There's loads of room around the table. You got all the light in the bit so Tony Illingworth would like it. You've obviously got the big screens there, the scoreboards, the stop clock. They've done a really good job. I don't know how much money they've spent on it. I don't even want to know.
It's a fair amount. We won't divulge figures. It's a fair amount, but he's putting in what he's getting in. I know last year he had 3,000 members join because it's tender to join 3,000 members there, so that's 30 grand in money's coming in just on membership. But he's investing that into the club. I mean, he's not just he's not pocketing that, not like other clubs would. Just and the tables he does his best to put cloths on. Just bear me a second, Coop. So I've just got to sort something out. Hang on.
Just following on from that, while everybody else is listening anyway, just following on from that, we used to play county pool at Wellingborough. So I'm talking 10 years ago that I used to play for the World Rules county team. And to be honest, it had no air conditioning. It used to be called Cooper's, didn't it? It used to have no air conditioning. It used to be a bit of a horrible place to play. Now, obviously, since then, loads of us decided to commence playing black ball over in Northampton. And the majority of players from Northampton did play black ball. So we continued to play over there, and as a result of the black ball shutting down with the Romany, we had to move to Wellingborough. We had no choice.
I'm back now. Yeah,
I was always concerned with moving over to Wellingborough from Blackpool just because of my previous knowledge of how Coopers used to be. So, the no air conditioning, the bit of a rubbish venue, if you don't mind me saying. But what Lee's done now, it is really good. It's for a ball player now, where it didn't used to be.
Every time somebody says something, a request or this would make it a little bit better, or that would, i.e., I mean, last year, well, a couple of years ago, I think it was, the aircon came in because obviously the worry was it was too hot in there. Certainly in the summer, county games, 50 odd people up there, 60 people up there, it was a sweatbox. Obviously, because there's no windows, of course, because of the location, etc. So you put that in. That can't have been cheap. Obviously, you put some extra tables in upstairs. Originally, there used to be 9-ball tables. Put some extra tables in there so we could get more people in on comps. He changes the cloth like there's no tomorrow. If probably too much in my opinion, but fair play. He, every 3 months pretty much. If he could get cloth now, because there's a massive shortage of cloth, but if he could get cloth now, all of the downstairs tables will probably have been reclothed anyway. The 4 new ones have just come in. They've just got a cloth on that came with it. But those 2 that we played in the arena, they would have been reclothed. Ideally, you'd have wanted them reclothed. He was telling me the other day, but they are what they are. So he takes good pride in it. I mean, there's still a few things he's got to do down there. He's got some tops to put on the lights. I think there's a few tables to go in there, but by and large, it was a lovely arena to play in last night. They just had plenty of room. Yeah. He certainly goes above and beyond anything that you want. Or the Q score. I mean, the Q score costs money. That's not free. That costs money to set up, and then obviously he's got the tablets on every table, as you say.
Stream on every table.
Stream on every table. It's really can't thank Lee and the team enough really for the platform that they give us to play on. We all take it pretty seriously at times. And it's a great place to go to, really. And everyone's so friendly there. Not even was downstairs last night. Nicole was running up and down, bringing drinks up and down like no tomorrow, food up and down. It's, nothing's ever too much trouble for him. So fair play to him for that. So hats off to Lee for that. It's been absolutely superb. As I said, there's still more things to come downstairs. I know there's still waiting for some tablets to come because there's no tablets on the table, the other tables yet. But that's only because there's a shortage. The only reason that things haven't been done yet is because of shortages, believe it or not. You can't get tablets. It's crazy, really. But we've all had the same problems with. That's a nice shot from Matt, isn't it? There, the position's not brilliant, but nice pot. That's the only reason that they've not been clothed because they can't get it. We're going to come on to cloths shortly. That's topic 3. But yeah, I thought we just started off with a well done Lee and Wellingborough Q Sports really for giving us what we've got, which is superb.
Just following on from that, I'll be a bit nice to you here as well, because we've now got, I say the colloquial we've now got a league with 110 people in.
Yeah.
Now I dare say that you wouldn't find that anywhere else in the country.
I don't think so, no.
Football was almost a bit of a dying sport. There's not, you set up this youth league now, there's not much young blood coming through.
No.
So to have 110 people at all different levels, and it doesn't really matter, it's numbers at the end of the day, it's for the club.
Yeah.
But to have 110 people all in one league is a bit of a testament to you, really, to get everyone together to be able to do that, because we've had leagues before. There might be 10 people in. People drop out. People come here, flit in and out, or
Yeah.
disappear off the planet for a few years. But this seems to be one that I think is going to run and run.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah.
It's taken over from probably something else we'll talk about a bit later on. You play team pool where you play 2 frames in a week against some old bloke for a pint. Personally, I'd much rather go to a club like this, play first to 15 against a very good player or someone at your level, and that is a decent night out. I mean, we had a brilliant night out last night, didn't we? So
yeah, so yeah, 8 of us in there, just enjoying it. It's a bit like a team game. I think people go to the team game. I talked to Dave quite often about this because he goes, "Oh, do you want to play?" I said, "No, I can't be bothered with it." And he goes, "Oh, why do people still play?" And he sort of says to me, "Because well, it's the camaraderie, isn't it? It's like team bodies. It's like just the social element." But was it any different last night? There's 8 of us there, all chatting away, watching the football, having a game of pool.
Eight to start with. It was 7 when Trasler went home in a huff.
Oh, Dean just missed a dolly on the black. Oh, dearie Lord. So anyway, so cheers for that. No, I mean, at the end of the day, like anything, without the players, that me setting up leagues is irrelevant. It needs the players, and we've got 110 this year, as you say, and another 10 junior players, so 120 players playing in leagues. Obviously, they've got the other handicap league as well. I think there's 30 odd players. I mean, some of them are the same players, but 30 odd players playing in that as well. So yeah, the club's absolutely thriving from that, and that's testament to Lee and the platform that he's given us. Yeah, so that's brilliant. So right, so we're going to go on to this one here, which is I know me and you are going to bang heads on this one a little bit. I'm sure is the old rule set. Not too much because most things I say is in jest about Blackpool. I ain't got a problem about Blackpool really. But rule sets, which is the best? Now we've got 3 rule sets that we can play at this moment in time. Every time I've done a vote on this, Blackpool does seem to win quite easily. Now internationals come in a bit more prominent. Obviously, this league we're going to be playing. Most people hopefully going to be playing international, so people might even veer towards international more than Blackpool. But we've got 3 to play with. We've got World, Blackpool, and international. Now, I always the sticklers. People always say that World's too boring, too slow. Snooker, whatever, blah blah blah, and they don't like they can just roll up and not even play a proper shot, which I get. I understand that. It's just there's different problems with all the rule sets, of course, but you're a massive exponent of Blackpool. I don't mind World, and the reason I don't mind World is because I don't mind a tactical battle. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'd much prefer breaking dishing. Like last night, it just forces Trasler to break his cue and whatnot. But and that's why I'm veering a little bit towards international, because I like. It's a bit tactical because, like I said last night, you have to think 2, 3, 4. I mean, we do in all the rules. Well, the good players do. You think 2, 3, 4 shots ahead because you have to think, if I do that, what's he going to do? When you're at the top level, like we are, well, top level around here, we're not top level, obviously, but top level around here, you have to think 2, 3, 4, 5 shots ahead, especially if you're playing Callum and yourself and Wayne and Fathead. You've got to plot it out because one mistake and it's pretty much game over, and that's for all of us in the top tier. And I do like international because it makes you think. The one problem I do have with Blackpool is not that it doesn't make you think, but you can do that smash bang wallop shot, which to me that's I try my hardest. However, that's the same for international as well. You can do the same shot. So is it really a problem? Because I'm a bit tactical. I like playing shots where I know where the white's going to be, and if I miss on that white, could be safe because that's the way I play. I always play a little bit cautious. When I'm playing a better player, I think I do play to the player that I'm playing against. If I'm playing against for want of a word, a lesser player, I do play a lot more open because you just sort of know they're not going to clear them up. If that's not trying to be disrespectful to them, but it's just a fact. And yet, when I'm playing the likes of you, I know that I can't leave you on. Like last night, I think you have 2 break dishes. You should probably dish both of my second games as well. Just one snip and you're going to clear them all up. But Yeah, world blackball or international. I know you prefer blackball. You played international last night for your first time, really, didn't you?
Yeah, just moving back from that. Obviously, a few years ago, we only had one choice. It was World Rules,
Yeah,
and that was it. There was
yeah,
one county team in Northamptonshire. Blackball wasn't even a thing. International rules definitely wasn't a thing, and we only had World Rules. World Rules followed on from those really old, boring EPA rules. So when
yeah,
World Rules come out, it was almost a bit of an exciting thing then. But
yeah,
because we had no choice, you had no basically you sink or swim. Now, I've
yeah,
always played the same way anyway. I play far more aggressive than you,
yeah,
because for the entirely opposite reason, I'm rubbish when it comes to tactical frames. Um, A, I don't really know what I'm doing. Secondly,
yeah,
I don't like to get bogged down because I do believe that I'll probably, in the main, against a good player, come off second best. So I
yeah,
like to rely on my aggressive player and potting. So when World Rules came out, I didn't ever play tactical. I just played potting in exactly the
yeah,
same way, and I still did all right. I still was the county A team. I was still one of the better players around here, and I still did okay.
yeah,
So when Blackpool became an option, at first I didn't want to play it, and the reason I didn't want to play it is because we had such a good World Rules county team.
yeah,
When you look at who is in our team back then, we had Stacey and Callum, we had Barcock and Wayne, we had obviously
yeah,
Terry Keeney, Danny Smith, Dave Evans, and then obviously ourselves. We had a really good county
yeah.
team. So I never
Blue
wanted to
beef,
go to
yeah,
Black. I
yeah,
never wanted to go
absolutely.
to Blackpool because rules wasn't important. What was important was winning.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
the
yeah,
Blackpool side were new. They'd just started out as a venture. Let's be honest, they were rubbish. Okay, they
yeah,
were rubbish. So we
yeah,
moved over to Blackpool. Me, Rob James, and Dan Byrne, I probably would say, were the better players that moved over. And all
yeah,
of a sudden, I played them all the time. And it was only from playing them all the time that I realised that they were just far more in my interest than world rules.
yeah,
Now, as the team started equalising a bit, and gradually, sort of players, for example, Mickey, I talked him round into coming over. The Blackpool team started getting a bit better. World rules was still about, but all of a sudden, it wasn't
yeah.
the rules that was keeping me. I didn't have to make a choice based on having to play in the best team. All of a sudden, I could choose based on the
Quality of
rules, and Blackpool
team,
was just miles better for
yeah,
me. Now, what's happened now
yeah,
is international rules have,
yeah,
have come out. Now, why they've come about is a bone of contention anyway. I suppose it's a talking point
yeah, yeah. Of
because, in
course,
my view, I don't
definitely.
believe they needed to change what they had.
No, no, yeah,
I
that's
think
right.
what's happened is somebody's, for example, Lee Kendall's come along and wanted to change the rules because he wants to own it, I guess.
Yeah,
So international rules and that's only my
yeah, yeah,
opinion, but
yeah,
international rules have come out, and now I've played them a bit. I'm still favouring Blackball because I like the skill shot. You
yeah,
call it the bashing shot, and don't get me wrong. There are
yeah,
times where it is. There are times where it can get you out of trouble, where you can pot a ball and crash into others. In fact, it's actually rare that happens. Most of the time, it is a genuine skill shot. You're doing it for a reason.
yeah, yeah.
But
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It is. Yeah,
but I don't know. The way the game's going at the minute, international rules, there's a likelihood, based on the numbers, that it may well become and take over. And who knows? But personally, for me at the moment, Blackball is king, and I can't see anything to change that. As for world rules, you only have to look at your club. This club that we're in at the minute. It was world rules through and through. Okay, up until fairly
yeah, yeah,
recently. You're now running a
yeah,
league with 110 people playing international rules. So what does that tell you is going to happen to world rules? You only have to look at the EPA as an organisation, where not many people are playing county now. You only
yeah,
have to look at the Northants county team. It's not very strong. Dare we say it?
yeah,
So whether world
yeah,
rules will even be a thing in the future, I don't know. So I would definitely put that as third place, which is probably unfortunate for a tactical player like yourself. But
yeah.
but for me, Blackball, then international, a streets ahead.
Well, the reason, I mean, Blackpool's actually closer to what I used to play because I used to be the boring fudger at EPA. Get yourself two shots, snooker, and I do feel that Blackpool makes me do that again, back to how I used to play 10 years ago. Well,
Really?
20 years ago. Yeah, because the benefit of having two shots and a free table, because obviously you don't get that in world rules, is massive. You get a ball near the hole or whatever. So I feel like I have to play a snooker if the clearance is not there. on Black Ball, I tend to go for it a lot less than what I would at World. I don't. It's just whether it's just a mental block thing, but if I miss, I know I'm screwed because you're going to snooker me. You're going to then have 2 shots of free ball, etc., etc. There's so many more benefits to having 2 shots in Black Ball than there is in World. Apart from obviously 2 shots don't carry.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing, and I think that is
the free ball shot. But that's the thing. But then because 2 shots don't carry, a bit like international rules, if you've got balls on the cushion or whatever, and you don't feel comfortable in clearing them up, because I'm an okay putter, but I'm not as good a putter as you, for argument's sake. Then I feel like I just that shot's a 50-50 shot. So in my head, I'm like, it's 50-50. I ain't going for it. I'd rather fudge again and then get 2 shots, move it, and shoot again. So I'm just thinking to myself, I play more snookers in Black Ball than I do in World. I very rarely play snookers in World because I don't know why, but you play the odd snooker in there. But I feel when I play Black Ball, I feel I actually snooker more, and I tend to see it more. I mean, I was watching the county the other week, and there was a certain game John Cairns was playing. It was the same. It's like in World he wouldn't do that, but in Black Ball he's having to do that. But it's just the way the balls land, isn't it? But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what rules they are. If the balls come out, you clear them up anyway, don't you? Let's face it. And the tables that we're playing on now, you get a good break like last night. I think last night I had 9 breaks. 9 breaks in the first 2 games, and I had 3 break dishes. So it literally didn't even matter what rules I was playing. But yeah, I do like international rules because they do make me think more. Because I'm thinking 2, 3, 4, 5 shots ahead. I can do that, and if he's got a ball over there, it doesn't matter because I can come off of here and I can pot it. It's just lost a turn. So there's more things that I'm thinking about. Black Ball, I feel like it's almost. It's not a step back, but I just feel like I'm playing more closer to EPA rules than World. When World was like a step forward, and sometimes I just think Black Ball's a little bit of a step back. But it is only down to the player, the way the player plays. There's no problem with any of the rule sets as such. But it's the player. When I talk about Black Ball taking longer, etc., it's just it only takes longer for me. It don't take longer for you playing the Black Ball game because of the way you play. But the way I play, it takes me long. I feel like it takes me longer.
Yeah.
But I think around here, though, you're right. Though around here, Black Ball seems to win the vote. More often than not, on the 2 votes I did, which is strange, as you say, because we've been a stalwart World rules in that club for 10 years since we've been up there. Really, Black Ball's just not even been a major thing, and then all of a sudden it's coming into the fore. Maybe that's because of the county teams playing up there now and whatnot. I don't know, but it's a good thing. It's a good thing to have choice.
I'll ask the question again in 3 months' time. Because it'll be interesting because as far as I was concerned, when that vote came out that you put out, we only really had 2 choices because it was Black Ball or World. Nobody had really played international rules. We'd seen it on the telly because the pros had been playing it or whatever, but no one had really played it. So give it 3 months' time in this league once everybody's played it, and then you might see a different result.
Maybe,
if World Rules is not finishing top now in Wellingborough Q Sports, it never will.
Because that's right.
And this is why I just think as a rule set that it's gone. Because if it replicate that all the way around the country, you can see that not many people are wanting or going to play it anymore. So I think it's time. If you haven't adapted yet away from World rules, then you do need to.
Well, one of the proofs in the pudding with World rules. I know they got their county finals next month, but a few weeks ago they played. They had their first Super League meeting. Obviously at a new venue because Grey Yarmouth's no more, and usually they have 128 teams, and 4 weeks ago, whatever it was, they had 64 teams enter.
Okay.
So whether that's because of the location, because I think it was up north, up past Liverpool somewhere, it might have been a factor. I don't know. It might have been the cost, because apparently the cost has gone up a little bit, which, in the grand scheme of it, does it really matter that it's costing 30 quid more for 3 weeks, for 3 days away? It works out a tenner a day. It's like 2 pints. It's nothing. 30 quid's not in or there, is it, in the grand scheme of it? But whether it's the location or I don't know. But say 64 people. 64 teams when it's normally 128. That's a massive downfall. Now we're obviously that might have just been a one-off. We'll see on the next event what happens.
I think it's down
but
to
you're right.
It's down to a choice thing, if you ask me. You know that you got to remember again. A few years ago, you could only play world rules, and if you played anything else, you'd get banned. So was it? Prior to that, we'd go to Yarmouth, and you'd probably have to play 2 games to qualify to get to Yarmouth. You know, we'd have a local Super League knockout, didn't we? We used to have like that about 5-6 teams all down Derngate, Riley's, all playing a knockout, and the top 2 would qualify for Yarmouth. Now, you know, the EPA would accept anyone who puts an entry form.
We actually did one. We're supposed to have one this Sunday, but I don't think we didn't get enough teams to come this week for whatever reason. It was a bit late getting the date out or whatever. But it actually becomes irrelevant because we've got 6 or 7 teams in the interleague in Northants, but all 7 of them go anyway. All 7 will get places, so the whole day is kind of irrelevant. The only reason it's there for, in a way, is to generate money for the club because the club sponsors the EPA, etc., etc. So that's kind of the only reason at this moment in time. There is no benefit to actually qualify because you qualify anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the EPA got a little bit greedy and then got more teams down there. And certainly when it was at Yarmouth, it became a bit of a pain because we used to love going down Yarmouth and on the Saturday afternoon when we're not playing, go into the games room, have a game of Moscone, bit of team bonding, camaraderie, etc., etc. Nowadays you can't do that because they're playing actually in the games room. So you imagine paying your money and then going down there and then being stuck in the games room as opposed to in the main room.
Yeah, you'd be sick because it weren't very good now, was it?
No, it gets hot and sweaty in there. The tables are not so good. I know they haven't upgraded them a little bit, but there was nothing compared to the main room. I mean, the main room tables weren't great either, to be fair. They helped me beat Rob Warren in the old quarters just because the tables weren't good. But you're right. Though. The only good thing that the World Rules, the EPA have got, is they have got that structure. They have got that interleague because Blackpool haven't got that, are they?
No,
they looked at it, didn't they? They were looking at it, but it didn't come in, did it? Just nothing really materialised, which is a shame. But Blackpool, obviously, you got your online scoring, so it's automatic. That's straight on there. That's certainly a plus.
Yeah.
You try and look at the stats for the EPA how they got on at the weekend, and the scores are not on there for 3 weeks. It's like bloody hell's going on. So
I remember the days of playing in the EPA, and you get to like the last game of the season, and if you were one of them players that had done really well that year, you'd want to know if you got England trials or not by finishing in the top 8. Obviously, in Blackpool now, all you do is click on the app on your phone, and you can see real time what's going on in games at other places. But when it was in the EPA, you'd have to wait for Bob Love to send a letter. About 2 months after the game.
No, that's right. So I think we're all in agreement that World is. I mean, I haven't played a game of World Rules for ages. Apart from when I play with my son, I haven't played World Rules for ages. For the last 2-3 months, I've been playing international or Blackpool. I don't even think I've played a World Rules game as such. So yeah,
I think
you're right. I mean, I was a stalwart welder, but I mean, giving me the choice now, I'd play international. I don't mind playing Blackpool and I don't mind playing World, but I would prefer playing international actually out of the 3. Okay. So World is probably the bottom of the pile, unfortunately. Wow.
You're Justin Wynn saying that.
Yeah, you heard it here first, folks. You heard it here first. So that moves us on. Well, this is on. Yeah, this is in between actually because we're going to go to the EPA, EBPF in a minute. But obviously, in the club at the moment, we've got what apparently is the Superfine Grey, which is supposed to be the same cloth as what they play on at the Ultimate, but they have everyone that's played on them has basically said it's not. Lee's been assured it is, but it's a different batch, so it could be running differently, etc., etc. Which I think they've fobbed them off with the wrong cloth. I'll be honest. They've said it is what it is, and it isn't. So Lee has done everything he possibly can to get the right bloody cloth. And he's actually the next cloths that come in stock, I believe Zach Leonard, who's from Ultimate Pool, is actually coming down to fit it himself.
Okay.
To sort of like go, well, this is it, and if there's anything wrong with it, then there's nothing else we can do. So the question is at the moment, obviously all the upstairs are grey, super fine. All the downstairs at the moment are on the Hainsworth match. I prefer playing downstairs at this moment in time because I don't like that grey Ultimate. That's super fine if that's what it is. I've played once in that London tour last year on those grey superfines, and I found them fine. No problems at all. I was coming off cushions fine. Everything was fine. And yet these ones, they come off the cushions funny. And it's not the cushions, because the cushions were fine before the cloth was on. So it can only be the cloth.
They play quite slow upstairs as well, don't they?
Yeah, well, off the cushion especially.
Well,
cushion.
Just in general. Generally, when a table's been reclothed, especially with like a super final Hainsworth match, it'll be quick, and it will slide off the cushions. It'll be a fast table. After about a week of these ones, we played lots of matches last year, table 13, table 20 for the county, and the 15A and what have you. The tables seem really slow after about a week, which is unheard of.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong, I still like them. I actually still like table 20, apart from the fact that people walk past it every 5 seconds. But it does seem a lot slower than what you're probably used to in competitions and clubs. So, I spoke to Callum about the cloth, and he seems to think, whether he's an expert or not, I don't know, because I'm really not. But he seems to think that somebody who put the cloths on maybe didn't stretch it enough when they were putting it on, and as a result, it's playing a bit slower. I don't know.
We might well find out then when Zach comes and puts them on. When there's a severe cloth shortage at the moment, so they just can't get any. So when it does come in, I think he's going to give it one more go at getting these grey on. Because I've been said that when they first came on, they were fine. The cushions were a little bit slidey, but now, honestly, it comes off the cushion funny for me. I just don't know what's going to happen when the white ball hits the cushion, and that for me is a problem. Because I don't hit things hard generally. I try and get things, I judge the pace and I try and get it in the exact position. I'm a little bit finicky like that. I like being in a position in exactly where I wanted the white. And when it comes off the cushion and all of a sudden it makes you look stupid, I don't like it. So I've been playing downstairs.
I'll just whack everything
for the last 3 weeks anyway, just because I just don't like the cushions. Yeah. That's what I mean, and everyone's different. So me and Darren Fenner, we play very similar. We roll balls in a lot. We try and push the white into a certain position where you would hit them with a lot more stun balls of any table, and obviously the speed of it that'll be sorted. That was a nice shot there from who was that? Was that Matt about to go 5-1 up? He's about to go 5-1 up and Matt Undine. That's going to be a bit of a shock of the score. I'm a rolly type player, whereas I know you and Wayne, especially in Callum, you're a lot more confident in your potting. Bang, bang, bang. Doesn't really affect you, does it? And even when you come off a cushion, because you're hitting it quite a bit harder. So coming off the cushion, it's still maintaining the pace. Whereas I'm trying to come off the cushion half the pace almost, and then as soon as it hits that cushion, it dies. We'll see. I mean, it's one of those. But Hainsworth match, I like. And actually, I mean, what looks better? Does the green look better? We've got on our screen here. We've got a green and we've got a grey. Yeah, does it look better on the green? I think it looks better on the green. Maybe it looks a bit cleaner on the grey. Don't know.
Maybe you're just old school.
Yeah, it could be.
The old school snooker tables at the Crucible and what have you. We've always played on green, haven't we?
Yeah.
To be honest, colour-wise, I don't have a preference. I don't think it really matters. In terms of the cloth itself, I've always been a big fan of Hainsworth match.
Yeah.
I've got it on my table at home now. I did change to that blue Strachan, the Simonized, whatever you call it, the IPA, purely on the basis that we used to use that for our England tournaments. Plus, we had it at the Romilly for the county games. So I just thought it'd be better for me to practice on that.
Of course.
I can't stand it. I got that off as soon as possible. So but for me personally, Hainsworth match is and always has been the number one cloth for me. I've never really had any reason to do any different. Personally,
no. You know what you're getting with it, don't you? You know what you're getting with it. I think when Stacey put it on first on table 13, 5, 6, 7 years ago, whatever, he said, actually, if anything, it will get faster as you play it. Obviously look after it, iron it, brush it, etc., but it'll actually get faster because it'll like go bald almost. So actually, pace wise, whereas normal. When we used to use the Strachan 8, whatever it was, Strachan Gold, when at 8611 or whatever, it used to wool up a little bit and then obviously become a lot slower. Whereas the match always keeps its pace, as we found last night. One table was a lot quicker than the other, wasn't
it? Yeah, it was. Yeah.
But that's because it's been played on a little bit less. Actually, that makes sense. But I think he hasn't actually straightened out one of them yet, and he hasn't because he's obviously been building the arena. He hasn't brushed and ironed those tables properly as yet and set them up, but so we'll let him off for that. But Hainsworth match for me at this moment in time. I mean, I could easily be persuaded to this super fine if we get the one that's on those tours. Wayne swears by it. Callum obviously likes them, and if they keep the pace, I mean, that's the important thing, is it? And whether it's just those ones that they play on, obviously on the tours, did they get recloth like after every tournament?
I'm not sure. I
Because obviously on the
I
Monday
don't
night
think they
thing, that
do.
I think they do, don't they? They get every week. They probably get reclothed. I think it's almost like a brand new table every tournament. So I'm not sure if those tour ones are, because it'd be an expensive way of
Good
doing it, isn't it?
question, mate. Good question. I don't know the answer to that, but what I do know is that they obviously go round the tables and brush and iron them regularly, whereas you obviously might not do that at home or in
Yeah,
your local club. So therefore, they generally always play pretty well. Um, so I don't
it,
know. I think it was Mason who posed this question about what was the best cloths and what have you. He probably knows a lot more than me. He's into all his
yeah,
kit and
yeah,
his different tours and what have you. I'm a bit like you, really. We're a bit old school. We just play
yeah,
on what we're given, and yes, I prefer Hainsworth match because I'm old school. In the same way as I prefer triangle chalk because I've used it all my life and I haven't had many
yeah, yeah.
kits.
No,
Whereas
what?
I know other people get paid 15 quid for a block of chalk from Russia and shit like that. So yeah, I'm a bit old school, mate.
Crazy. What on that note, so on cloth, so I think we both sort of agree at this moment in time. Give me a Hainsworth match cloth. We're not going to go far wrong. Tried and tested. We know we're not going to go far wrong with that.
Yeah.
On the table, obviously, you've got the standard Supreme winners that we all play on at the club. The black ball tables just come out. What table you got at home?
I've got a Supreme winner.
Supreme winner, yeah.
The only thing with Supreme winners that I think has been eradicated on these black ball tables is you don't have to
Another
get
nice shot there.
bounce
You
outs.
don't, or you do, sorry.
On Supreme winners, if you hit a ball out in the middle, there's a fair chance
Yeah,
it might fly back out. In fact, I had one
yeah,
against
yeah,
you yesterday.
yeah, yeah.
So they do bounce out, and on black ball tables they don't seem to. Now, I was always, once again, me being old school and thinking that I don't need to change anything. I was always of the mindset that Supreme winners are the best tables. I've played on other ones, ignoring the black ball tables for a minute. But
Yeah.
for England in the black ball setup, we used to play on Optima tables. They are the
Oh, okay.
worst tables you have ever played on in your life.
Oh, really?
It's like when you go to like a country pub and they've
Yeah.
got them big oak tables with like heavy balls on, and
Oh, right.
they're
Yeah, yeah.
absolutely awful. And we used to have to, because they'd had an agreement or a sponsorship with Optima, they had to use them. They were absolutely terrible. So for me, Supreme Winner was all the best. However, the first real time I played on these black ball tables was the last Black Ball Nationals. So we went obviously in October, just gone. They were excellent. They were excellent. No
Uh,
dangers of bounce out. They still played just as true as
yeah.
Supreme winners. There was no wobbling down the rails like you used to get, with certain tables or cloths. They played really well. So once again, I'm open to a black ball table. And I think there's two types as well.
Okay.
You've got club ones
I
and the
don't think I've
elite
ever
ones.
played on. I don't think I've ever played on one, so I can't actually make an opinion on that because I don't think I've played on one. I might have done, but I don't think I have. I think every county pretty much has a Supreme winner, pretty much here and there. Just looking at some of the comments there, Ewan said that he thinks the 3 mainstream tables are redone for every tour weekend. So the ones that they know they're going to be watching on the stream, they're redone.
Okay.
So there we go. So that's
So,
probably why they look quick and slippy as you like, and
yeah.
and probably why the pockets play rather big.
Absolutely.
Uh,
Well, they want that
and
for
as
the
you
goal,
say,
don't they?
well, if it's stretched as well, and as if he was saying there, if it's stretched properly, if you're stretching over the cushion properly, obviously, the more you stretch it, the bigger your pocket is going to be, isn't it? Because you're going to stretch that cushion in tighter, so it does make the pockets bigger by the more you stretch it. It's as simple as that. That's just basic equations. That is right. So we've got a little topic here. We have actually covered it a little bit actually with the EPA,
We have.
EBPF, or ultimate pool pros and cons. I think we sort of covered it really. The pros of the EPA are really they've got the Super League set up. Whether that's still going to be going, I'll keep an eye at this year and have a look at it. See what the next intake of teams is. Say 64 in the last one, because of course they're sort of going on tour with the Super League now and the finals. They're touring Pontins. I think the first one was up in Southport. I think next week at the county one, they're at Lowestoft, I think. I don't know what Great Yarmouth's not. I mean, so for us, location for us, it's easy enough to get to. But Southport, I think I've read somebody saying to me it took them ages to get there, and obviously people from Cornwall to Mass even longer a drive, isn't it? So maybe that was a turner off. But then Great Yarmouth wouldn't have been any better, would it? So,
Yeah,
and
not
at the
really.
end of the day, there's nothing that they could have done. If Great Yarmouth don't want them there for whatever reason, why, they'll have their own reasons. But from a money's point of view, you can't see why, because 1,000 pool players there going there drinking beer and whatnot. What's not to love? But it's not exactly easy, is it, to find a venue that's going to hold 32 odd tables and 1,000 people. Yeah. So they've done as best as they can. I'm not going to slag them for finding Pontins. I think the Black Ball was at Pontins last year as well, wasn't it?
It was. The thing is, like you say, venues are difficult to come by. You are not in this game going to get luxury.
No.
Yarmouth, for everyone that says, oh, Yarmouth was brilliant, it weren't. It was a dump. There was times where I went to Yarmouth where it was snowing outside and we had no hot water and we had to boil snow in the kettle to get some water. So it's never going to be luxury. Now, Pontins was a dump. There's no bones about it. It was a dump. But if you put that to one side and realise why you're there to play a pub sport, get drunk with your mates, obviously do well. You're not really going to be in the room very much, or why would you be? You're going to be in the main hall. In terms of a venue itself, so the venue, the pool hall and what have you, it was spot on. I thought the venue where we played was better than Yarmouth. It was a big room. They had music on. You had loads of room around the tables. It was excellent. Yes, the rooms were an absolute dump, but what do you really expect for like 80 quid for 5 nights or whatever it might have been?
That's it. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, so it shouldn't put people off. If you want something better, then get a hotel around the corner. I don't believe that people. I think people moaning about it being in Pontins, they're moaning for moaning's sake. That's my personal view, and I do like luxury.
But you're right. If you're going there for 4 days, it's going to cost you 90 quid. You're paying 20 quid a night less, just under, for a bed and a shower in the morning, and then after that, you're in the room, aren't you? You're going into the pool room, or you're going into the bar or whatever. Yeah, it's never been a massive one for me. I mean, I quite enjoy, when we used to go to Yarmouth, we had a little game of Prudo or whatever in the caravan. But you could easily move that into the pool, into the bar. It makes no difference to me. So I'm looking forward to going there. And as you say, you get out of it what you want. Me personally, I'm going there to get drunk and play pool. I'm not going there to go and sleep in a 5-star resort.
The fact it's a different venue makes it better anyway. You're going somewhere new. We've been going Yarmouth 4 or 5 times a year for about 25 years.
Yeah, exactly.
It certainly gets boring. You go to a new venue, and they did do deals on drinks as well. It was a lot cheaper for a drink there than it was in Yarmouth.
Yeah, I'm hearing that. About a pound a pint cheaper. I've read.
There you go. So you're going to make you 20 quid back, aren't you?
Exactly. Yeah. So it is what it is. So yeah, I think the EPA. I mean, they've still got that set up. EBPFs haven't quite got there yet. Ultimate Pool. They're taking it to another level, obviously, making people professionals and paying out some cracking money, as you well know.
Well,
but at the same time, I don't know how much does it actually cost to go on the Challenger Series?
Well, can we stop Dean Griffin from playing now and ask him, because he's a top Challenger performer on there.
We can do, but when he loses when he's 7-1 down, we'll ask him. So that would have been you out of the Ultimate Challenger.
Okay. I believe it was somewhere in the region of about 900 quid.
And is that what's that? Is that for 5 events?
No, I think it's for 8 events over 4 weekends.
Oh, of course, you get 2 of a weekend, don't you?
Yeah, so 8 events over 4 weekends, so about 900 odd quid.
Oh yeah, you wouldn't say 900 quid there. Yeah, 900 quid. Okay, so I mean, when you break that down, of course, 8 events, it's under £1 an event. It's not a massive amount, is it? Really, for that prize money, it's superb.
You've got to pay your hotels as well.
You got to pay your hotel.
So these weekends don't come cheap.
No.
They are quite expensive, and therefore for a player like Callum, for example, who's going there and who's got a fair chance of winning $7,000 twice in a weekend for 4 events, it's a no-brainer. For the lesser player, you've got to ask the question of whether they're doing it because it's new or whether they really want to be on that tour for a long period of time over many years. So the proof really will come next year as how many are retained, whether the prize money's the same, whether they're doing it just because it's a nice thing to get people on the first year. What they're going to do with the hotel costs. So I generally see these things as a year-to-year basis, and you'll judge it thereafter. But I don't know. I don't know how it's going to go.
Well, I'm gonna hope it keeps on. I can't see how it can get much bigger because they'll need bigger venues, won't they? Because it's you can't take many more people. So will they then start seeding people? And like obviously in the pro it's seeded, so you've got to be obviously a certain level to be in the pro. But are they then going to start looking at the challenger and going, well, we only want to select them out type of player. You know, as Scott just went, yeah, like me. But yeah, Scott, you did well, Scott. I think you got down to the last 64 or something, mate. Yeah, favourable draw. But you know, will they look at it and go, no, you're not good enough, you're not coming in, or are they going to go, yeah, we'll just take your money?
I think the latter. You know,
Yeah,
when you look at all of those tours, the IPA tour, the Ultimate Tour, whoever it might be, you know, they are relying on the keen pool player who might not take home any money, or the World Rules Tour, whatever, to boost the pot. You know, to boost the pot, because let's be honest, if you're only getting the very best players who can win it, you'll only have
yeah,
30 people there or 40 people there. It's not going to happen.
yeah,
You know, they do need that player there. But the truth is as well, you know, when we look at it from a different perspective, they're the players that make the weekend better, because
yeah,
they're the
yeah,
ones that go out, have a laugh, have a beer, and what have you. You
yeah,
know, I
yeah,
would much rather
yeah,
be on a tour with them sort of people than I would with
yeah,
loads of boring blokes, all professionals, drinking water, only there for the
yeah.
win, going to bed at 9 o'clock at night and watching Match of the Day on telly. You know, so
This is the catch-22 of these tournaments, and all the tournaments that I run as well. You know, as soon as Callum puts his name down, it's like, well, what's the point? But we still do it because we want to go out for the day, game of pool. And that's why I tend to make my tournaments. I try and make them all-day events, because like, just as opposed to a knockout, you know, do you want to pay 30 quid and get knocked out in the first round and go home? For me, I always try and set them up so that you're there all day. Now, but that's all day playing, not because when I went to that ultimate one, well, it weren't ultimate, was it? It was a World Rules Tour last season. When we went to that one in London, I'll be honest with you, I've never been more bored in all my life.
yeah, tell me about it. Tell me
You know,
about it.
the wait in between the games, you know, so you felt like you can't really get on the drink, so to speak. You know, I mean, I can drink all day if I wanted to, but you want to be sort of complimentous because it is a proper tournament. You know, my tournaments are more of a drinker fest, you know, for the drinkers and whatnot. It's not so serious, but when you're paying that sort of money to go on that tour, you know, 900 quid, so 200 quid a weekend plus your hotels, plus probably booking a Friday off of work, where if you work for
Yeah.
yourself, you're not getting paid. So you factor all of that in. You want to do well down there, don't you? So you don't want to get too drunk. And I just found myself bored to tears.
I,
Uh,
I, I always look forward to those events. So I enter one every now and again, and I entered that same World Rules one in London. I always look forward to them. However, what happens after about an hour of being there and saying hello to everyone? You're suddenly bored, aren't you?
yeah, yeah.
And
Because
that's
you're in
why
a
I think,
hotel, and it's not like Yarmouth as such. You're in that hotel. There was nothing else to do apart from play pool or watch pool, and there was nowhere to go and play pool, practice pool. So you literally either you played your game. I mean, I played my first game at 11 o'clock or whatever. Finished by 12. Yeah, off you go, mate. Yeah, back on at 6. All right. So I've got 6 hours to kill. So what am I supposed to do for 6 hours? So I'm gonna sit here and watch pool for 6 hours now. No, thank you.
yeah.
Yeah, do you know
And
what I mean? But anyway,
that's where I
but,
fail at these. That's where I fail at these big events, because what I do
yeah,
then is I'm like, oh, let's have a pint, and then before you know it, you've had 12 and you're out till 5 a.m.
yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. What Ultimate Pool are doing is brilliant. I mean, I love watching it. I have actually purchased the $6.99 a month so I can watch it. I mean, I purchased it to watch Callum at the weekend. But you know, 7 quid is it's nothing really. I mean, some people will, some people won't. 7 quid to me, it's like, yeah, I'll watch it. Because then I watch Potsy afterwards, play Mick Hill. So to me, it's worth 7 quid, two quid a week. It ain't too bad. But what they're doing is brilliant. You know, we've got some loads of local lads going on it, which is great. Obviously, Lauren did really well. She got through to was it the semis? She got through to. She did superb. Obviously, Callum brought it home for us, which is brilliant. So yeah, all in all, you know, I'm not gonna criticise them in any way, shape, or form. Fair play to them all. It takes a lot to run these things and put these things on. So fair play as far as I'm concerned
Yeah.
for them all. Okay, so we're going to move on to predictions.
Okay.
So this year, obviously, as you said earlier, we've got ourselves. We're all playing the 12 this year. There was a few rumblings last year. Now I know you preferred 15. I didn't mind 15. There's a couple of people in the 15 that was like, nah, 15 is too long. Wayne was like, nah, it's too long. Even though it only takes us 2 hours.
Generally, the heavier lads didn't like the longer
Yeah,
races.
yeah, that's it. Yeah, basically, you're right. Yeah. But so we moved it all down to 12, which could potentially mean that you can get 2 games in a night if you're travelling anyway, which might be a bonus that way. But yeah, we've got 110 entrants, which is fantastic, as you said earlier. Loads of new players, which, you know, quite a few of them was really hard for me to judge where to put them because I just didn't know them. We'll know them after this year, and obviously if they all come in next year, we'll have a better gauge. There might be some real good players at the bottom there that I just don't know. We'll find out. But I've got a little list here of my predictions. I've done a little prediction list of up and down.
Have you?
Now, obviously, they'll go down if last year, obviously, when we did the 15, 12, and the 9 last year, obviously, I tried to move people up if they come top, but people that were bottom pretty much didn't go down because a few people didn't re-enter. Obviously, we've made the leagues bigger because last year I think there was 12 in the league. This year there's 14. So you do get more games for money anyway. So quite a lot of people that finished bottom last year didn't get relegated as such. There's a couple that did go down because they clearly were in the wrong league. I think they just took places of people that dropped out and whatnot. So 7-1 to Matt by the look of it as well. Look at that. That's some shock. I would say that's a shock. After Dean beating Antinimouth, and I think Matt lost his first game. I can't remember who played. So to be 7-1 up against Dean, that's pretty impressive from Matt there. And Will and Mark 6-4. Mark is the early front runners to win the 12. Mark hasn't played a lot of pool lately. He's a good pool player. We've known Mark for a good amount of years around Rushton. He used to be a bit of a snooker player. He used to be a ton player at snooker when he was like 14. So he can certainly cue a ball. But he doesn't play a lot of pool. He plays Wednesday night. He used to play Wednesday night pool, and in a team, and that was basically it. He's in a few singles leagues years ago, but not really been on the scene. So yes, interesting to see how he's getting on. But Div 1.
In terms of predictions, then obviously you did your. We kind of guessed your predictions a little bit when you did the points thing for your fantasy football. So clearly, you had Mark Brett to win one league, and you also had Anthony Illingworth to win the other one. So you're having a mare. You're having a mare already because they've both been pumped.
Well, I have actually changed this. This is a new predictions list.
You changed it because you lost.
I've seen a couple of games and I've had to change it. Oh, hang on. That Daz Venner just said Mark hit 120ish the other day in a match at snooker. Yeah. So he's no mug. Oh, there you go, 115. Luke said. Yeah, 115 in the Monday League the other week. So he's no mug when it comes to holding cues. Now, obviously pool is a different game to snooker. We all know that. Yeah. We all know that it's a totally different game. I can't play snooker, but I can play pool. Do you know what I mean? It's like it is different. I have it in 82 in the league. To be fair, I did win the top break the other year. God knows how I did that because I think I've hit 82, and the next highest break of it is about 40. So God knows where the 82 came from. So I've gone for obviously, and this is the same in the fantasy pool league. We've got.
Let's start at the bottom division. Let's start at the bottom division.
Let's start bottom 8. Okay, bottom 8. Well, 6, 7, and 8 are really tough for me because quite a lot of players in that I don't know. But I've gone for Jordan Douglas. I was told from Stuart, that's Stuart Douglas's son.
Okay.
That he's not a bad player. He's not as good as Stuart, but he can play. But I put him in Div 8 because I didn't know him, and as I was going through this, so I've gone in for top. And again, this is really hard because I don't know these players. So I've gone Jordan, Liam Chapman, and Alan Marshall to come out at the top. But Div 8 is a complete guess because I don't know any of the players really.
Okay. Well, I had a look at Div 8, and by the way, when we're looking at promotion, if you're picking the person to come bottom, whoever you say is going to come bottom of Division 8 is going to go to bed crying tonight. You're basically saying they're the worst player out of 110.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys.
So that'd be nice. But all right, so Division 8, I looked through the leagues. I only recognise one name, Joanne Lee, which is Callum's best mate, actually.
Yes,
He plays in the local Northampton League. He plays in the Prem. I wouldn't necessarily say he's a brilliant player or anything. He wouldn't mind me saying that. But on the basis of knowing him and not knowing any of the rest, I'm going to predict that he's going to win it because he can play. He can hold a cue.
Yeah.
Second place, I'm going to go for a bloke called Robert Forker because he won yesterday in this division.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. But you did also say that he missed about 75 million shots. So
I did, yeah. But
he has got to win. He has got to win on the board though. So yeah.
Yeah, the other bloke missed 78 million. So therefore, I can't have him in the top 3. And I haven't even picked a third place or anyone that's going to come bottom. If I don't know the names, it's pointless. At
the bottom, I've gone for Craig Gill because he's trying to get into it. John Bell and Brandon King, but say total Div 8 really just write that off because I didn't know anybody.
Yeah.
Div 7. Now, this guy, I've gone for Scott Johnson to win this group. The reason I've gone for that is because Scott used to play years ago. He's an okay player. He's not brilliant, but he's okay. And he actually questioned to me, because, are you sure you want to put me in Div 7? So he's got tickets on himself. So okay. I said, yeah. I said, there is some good players around, Scott. It's been a few years since you played, and there's a lot of good players around. So he's got tickets on himself. He fancies himself to win that division because he wanted to go. He sort of intimated to me that he should be up higher. So I've gone for Scott. I've gone for Pat Hendry. He's on the old over 50s tour. If his head's in the game, he's not a bad player. He can certainly pot a ball. And I've gone for Craig Cadigan. He's actually in Div 1 of the Handicap Singles League that Cheryl runs. So I played against Craig when he first came out. He's new to the area. And he said, "Oh, do you want a game?" I said, "Yeah, I'll give you a game." Now, don't get me wrong. I battered him, I don't know, 23 or something silly it was. But he can pot a ball. He can pot a ball. Because in the bottom of that group, I've put Shaky, Aaron Cairns, and Jason Garrett. I don't know Jason, so I'll put him there. But I'll put Shaky there. Craig's better than Shaky. We all know how good Shaky is. If he brings his Yarmouth form, he'll win a couple of frames.
Oh, is that Yarmouth form where he doubled 3 in a row and hasn't shut up about it for the next 25 years? Yeah.
Yeah. John Cairns went to give him a lift home and buggered off. and there he was sitting there with his cue and his carrier bag.
Okay, well, quickly skirting through this division. I actually don't know any of Division 7, so we'll just miss that out. I'm going to bow down to your better judgment without Sean Bloke and say he's going to win it.
Scott Johnson. Yeah, watch this space, folks. Div 6 is kind of similar because there's only a few players that I know, but I've gone for Liam Goodall because obviously I was told he should not be in Div 8. He's a County C player, blah, blah, blah. So I managed to get him up to 6. Because that was the only other buy that I had, and I know he did beat. He won the other day, didn't he? He beat Ben Coxon the other day. So he's off the mark already. So I've gone for Liam. I've gone for Stuart Thompson. I don't know him either, but I've gone for him because he lost 10-5 to Steve Williams in the Black Bull comp. So I thought, okay, he can certainly hold a queue if he's losing 10-5 to Steve. Fair enough. And I've gone for Steve Parrish because he was borderline maybe Div 5 anyway. So I've got them in the top 3. In the bottom, I've got Tom Carvell, Sean Hendry, and Ben Coxon.
Okay. Right, so Division 6, I've also gone for Liam Goodall.
Yes.
In fact, it was me that told you he shouldn't be in Division 8.
Yeah.
He's a steady player. He's more than capable. I don't recognise all the names in this division, but I know a few, and I would say he's better than them. The ones that I know. He plays with like Ed Brewley, Paul Houghton. He's played in the Monday Night Pool League in Northampton for a while. He goes to things like the Golden 8 Ball with Ed Brewley and his team and Ray Ramplin. He's an half decent player. I would still say he's probably in maybe a division or two too low as it stands at the minute. So I'm going to pick him to win it. I've gone for Steve Parrish second because I know the name and I played against him and I think he can pot a few balls, can't he?
Well, he beat John Cairns the other day in the Blackpool comp.
Oh, well, there you go. So therefore he's got some sort of pedigree there.
Yeah.
And then I've gone for Kevin Mann because I've just seen his name rattling around the club a few times. And I think he's after us.
He can hold a cue, Kev. The greatest thing that Kev did, brilliant. We went to Liverpool last year on a black ball tournament. Obviously just a beer-a-thon really, but he played a shot. Let's just work it out exactly what he did. He did something. Let me remember what he did. There was a yellow over the hole, and he played his red. He did a shot, and Jimmy Croxton was actually sitting. Not at Jimmy. Aaron Davis was actually sitting there. Wait, and he looked at him and he just said, "What have you done there?" And Kev went, "I played a skill shot." He goes, "No, that's not a skill shot, mate." I can't remember exactly. If Kev's watching, hopefully he'll be able to tell me. Or Pooey, because Pooey was there. But we all just started pissing ourselves. It's funny as fuck. Honestly, it was so funny. He thought it was a great shot. He thought it's a skill shot. No, that's not how skill shots work, mate. I can't remember exactly what he did. But yeah, he can hold a cue, Kev. He's been about a bit.
You've not sold it.
He can hold a cue. Yeah, he is probably better than some of them in there. He came up from the bottom 9A the year before, I think.
That was it. That was when I seen him play. He won it, didn't he?
Yeah. And it was him he was supposed to be playing Lilt Gilbert in the 9 final, but he couldn't make it because he had COVID, and Lee Bunker played instead. So yeah, he can hold a cue. He's all right. So so we've got two of the same there. So we're pretty much saying Liam Goodall probably is too good for that division, but time will tell. You never know. At the end of the day, has he played any league format before? it's different to playing one game pool. So we'll see on that.
Yeah, that's something
Div
we'll talk
5.
about later as well, eh?
Div 5. Oh, hang
So-
on, Pooey, he hit the opponent's ball first and then planted onto his. That's right,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
And he thought that was a skill shot. Yeah, he thought that was a skill shot.
First. Oh, okay.
Oh, it was brilliant. Absolutely
So,
brilliant. You've never seen Aaron Davis sitting there. Honestly, he was like, "What have you just done?" Because he looked so proud. It was unbelievable. Right, Div 5. We got Div 5.
Yeah,
you go
Div 5
first.
upwards. I recognise a few more names.
Yeah.
So do you want me to go first on this one?
Yeah, you go first on this one.
Okay. I've gone for Steve Rose to win it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Steve's not a bad player actually. He used to be rubbish. I hope he's not watching.
Has he got a brother that plays as well?
Yeah, his brother Andy Rose, but he's moved away now. He found a bird,
yeah.
so he's disappeared off the face of the planet. I think he lives in Bay St Edmunds or something now. But Steve Rose is a half decent player, and he's quite steady as well. I think I'm not sure if he still plays. Yeah, he still plays for the county. I think he plays Blackpool County B, maybe.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, I think he might be up there. He's certainly going to be up there in that division anyway. I've gone for Steve. Second, I've gone for Gary Matthews. He's got a bit of pedigree. He's been playing for a while now. You know, he's got a table in his house, so he's always playing with his dad and his brother. And might be a bit of a surprise with this one, but third place, I'm going for Lee Bunker purely based on his performance yesterday.
How well did he play last night?
He did. Wow. He played awesome last night until I hammered him. But yeah, he played really well until then.
Every time we play downstairs in those tournaments, he's played really well. That 20 minutes just seems to work for him at the moment. But yeah, that's a nice shout. That's a little stab in the dark for Lee. Well, I've gone for two of the same of yours. I've gone for Steve Rose and Gary Matthews. I've also gone for another Northampton guy. I've gone for Scott McMillan. I don't actually know how good he is. Really, I've never really watched him play.
Before you carry on, this was one of the only groups where I put someone to come bottom, and I've put Scott.
Oh dear! Oh shit! No. Okay. Well, that could be an interesting one then.
One could argue that I only put it because he dropped me from county the other week. But
we'll come on to that in a little while, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And at the bottom, I've gone for, bless them, I've gone for Selena, Rumin, Farsad, and Joe Roberts. Selena, obviously, last season she was at the near the bottom of that group. She got moved up, obviously, with more people coming in. Rumin Farsad, we call him Milo. His nickname's Milo. He actually won the 9A the first year. Struggled a little bit in the next season up in whatever it was last year, 9. I think it was in the 12C. It didn't have as good a season. Obviously, you're playing better players now. Obviously, as we just noted there, he's playing better players this year with Steve Rose, Gary Matthews. He had a good game with Lee Bunker, actually. I think he actually beat Lee, like 9-8. So, yeah, that's going to be close. But the whole division is quite close on that one. And as we come up from Div 5 upwards, there's not a lot to call them. I mean, Div 4, what we're going to go into in a minute, that was the division last year. That there was about 5 points between all the players. It was crazy. One of the tightest leagues I've ever seen.
Well, funny enough, when I went through it earlier, this was the one I really struggled with, Div 4.
Div 4, yeah.
I literally could... Prior to the division starting, I probably would have gone with what you said and probably gone with Anthony Illingworth. Yeah. But on the basis he was humped by Dean Griffin, and Dean Griffin's getting torn a new one 8-1 as we speak right now, and missing everything. I've crossed Anthony Illingworth off my list.
He's not in any of mine. He's not in the top 3 now or the bottom 3. I've took him away. He likes banging the ball, doesn't he? We talk about hitting balls hard soon. He bangs balls like there's no tomorrow. I've never seen nothing like it.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I've gone for Div 4. I've gone for an old player that he's just coming back into it. He's just getting back into. He comes from Kettering. Oh, you got Dermot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've gone for Dermot. He used to be a really steady player back in the day. I don't think he's played for like the last 5, 6, 7 years, maybe. But he's just come back out playing on Wednesday nights. Just learning international rules, obviously. You certainly used to play in the Kettering team, so he used to be a decent player. Whether he still got it, time will tell. But I've gone for Dermot. I've also then, on the basis of obviously that game the other day, I've gone for Dean Griffin. Oh, dearie Lord. I could have just changed that, but no, let's keep it as it is. And I've gone for this one slightly out of left field, this one, but I've gone for Shannon Barnett. Now, Shannon, he had a good season, decent season last year, but he just let himself down in a few games, but he can certainly play. He's a really good potter. He can certainly play and do some damage in that league, I'm sure. He's a good player. Probably better than Div 4, actually. But well, I say that they all could be. They could all hold their own. Div 3 and Div 4 are pretty much 28 players mixed up. You could put them in a hat and pull them out. It don't really matter which one they're in. But Shannon, for me, I've gone for him at the top 3. Hopefully he'll be there. And at the bottom, I've got 2 players that probably would have been relegated if everyone had come in again and out again, whatever. They finished bottom, but in John Sharp and Adi Mantle, and I've also gone for David Mills at the bottom, but only because they were at the bottom last year. But as I say, they were only at the bottom by about 3 points. If they'd have got 3 more points, they'd have been 4th. So it's a tough one. And John Sharp, he's playing County B. David Mills is a County B player. We're talking County B players, and we're in Div 4. I mean, that's the strength of the players around here, and in the league, it's crazy, really. And Adi Mantle is a playing County A captain. He doesn't really play if they only plays when they're short, but County A captain, Adi. But yeah, that's what I've gone for, mate. And you said you've gone for Dermot.
I went for Dermot. I then, to be honest, there's a couple of names I don't recognise. So apologies, I'll be leaving them off if they're that good. I don't know this Shannon guy. I actually thought it was a woman when I saw the name. So apologies to him. I went for Derek Taylor. Bit of experience.
Yeah.
And I actually went for Adi Mantle to come third. I've actually played against Adi Mantle before. I remember it in one of it was in a Wellingborough comp years ago.
Yeah.
And I think it went to a decider. It was like the first round. And I remember it so well because I was obviously, well, according to everybody, I was like a massive favourite to win. And he went to a decider. He should have beat me. I think he had 2 shots and he cocked it up. And the whole venue were crowded around the table, desperate for him to lose.
He's a steady player. I've got nothing. It's just the strength of that league. He's a steady player. The strength of that league, I've just got him down only because he was down the bottom last year. Never this year could be totally different. It was only the odd game last year. As I said, it was about 4 points away. It was bottom, but it was 4 points away from 4th. That's how close the league was. It was crazy. And I hope it's the same again. I mean, that's the whole point of taking it down to 12 to make it tight. That's going to be an interesting one to watch out for. And obviously, Matt. Was it Matt Nezik? He's winning now, but he lost the other day.
I've changed my mind to him. He's going to win it, isn't he?
He's a decent player. Matt is. It's just he won 12C last year, so he would have been coming up to 12B anyway. So he's coming up into the better player, so to speak. He probably shouldn't have been 12C last year, to be fair, but it was his first season in it, and he done really well. So fair play to him. I see Mark Brett's just gone 7-6 up now on Will. So good game. That is. They are 2 of the. Them 2 players are pretty similar, Mark and Will. Mark's probably a better all-round player, but Will has been playing pool. Fair play. Okay, Div 3 now. Yeah, Div 3. We're obviously getting into slightly better player territory, obviously.
And now we are getting into more known names. It would be good for people to jump in. People jump in and put your predictions in. If you know who's in the divisions, let us know who you think is going to win it. So
yeah, that's it.
Again, do you want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first on this one. Yeah.
Okay, so I've gone for in Div 3, and this was quite a tough one actually as well. But I've gone for Elliot Lloyd to win it.
Good player. Had a good win earlier. Beat Joe Thorpe earlier. Got a good win. 12-11.
He did, and I was keeping an eye on that because if he'd have lost that, I would have changed my
He's probably the most improved player around here in the last 2 years. He's been playing in all the tournaments. I think he actually did play for Cheshire Youth, but he's down here for university or something. That's right. So he's been playing a lot over here. But good steady player.
He won some money for me. In one of your, I think it was, you did them round robin international rules comps.
Oh yes, yeah.
And I backed him in that.
That's right. Yeah, I remember it. Yeah, I remember. Yeah,
I'm going to stick with him. I'm going to stick with him to win it.
Yeah, nice shout.
I've gone for Ray Ramplin to come second.
Yeah.
Ray's a player from Northampton who is keen as mustard. He's literally all of those. Him, Ed Brewley, Paul Houghton, they all play a lot. Funnily enough, more than me and Callum play. So they do play a lot, and they're in all the leagues, Monday night leagues, Wednesday night leagues. He's one of them who you go down the Romany for a knock with somebody, and he'd be on a table on his own doing lineup and doing drills on his own. So he's getting keen for the game. And one thing I will say is he has got better. So he's in the County C now. He's definitely one of their best players. He's definitely got better. So I think he's going to be up there in that division.
Yeah. And have you got a third or?
Third place, I've gone for Liam Annis. I haven't seen Liam play that much, but I know he's County B, isn't he?
He's County A now. County A now.
Okay, County A. All right. So he's a good lad.
Yeah,
I've seen him play a couple of times. I know he plays in like the Wellingborough local league, and I've seen a couple of matches while I've been on there. So I'm going to plump for him. But this was a tricky one actually because. If you'd have asked me this 20 years ago, talent-wise, I'd have said Dave Evans will walk it. Dave
yeah,
Evans and it's not the Kettering Dave Evans, it's the one from Northampton.
yeah,
He
yeah.
was one of the best players in Northampton by a country mile. A cracking player, but I don't think he's older now. I don't think he's as bothered now. And he may well romp the league, but I'm going to say, based on what I know and recently, I don't think he will. And there's obviously, there's a Premier League football in there as well, isn't there?
Yeah, yeah. His
Yeah,
dad.
so
His dad.
that'll be interesting. So
He-
hope some of the pool players don't get starstruck. They're playing against a Premier League footballer when they're playing a match down Wellingborough Q Sports. But
it's his dad. It's Ivan's dad.
oh, is his dad playing? Okay, well,
Yeah, it's his dad.
they both used to go down Derngate and play pool with us.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, it's his dad apparently. And Dave,
so
Dave told
I
me,
did,
he messaged me, he said, look, put Ivan in the same division as me. I went, right,
yeah.
okay. Because he
His dad
can
can
certainly play.
His dad can play, but both of them. So the Premier League footballer, I thought it was him, and the dad can both play. They used to play with us down Derngate a lot.
Okay.
His dad's a solid player.
Good. Okay.
There's a few there. Joe Thorpe, who just lost
Yeah.
by one to Elliot Lloyd, who I tipped to win it. The two
Yeah.
girls in this are both good.
Yeah,
So
Lauren
Williams
Williams.
and Lauren Whitmore
Yeah.
are both very good players. So I
Yeah.
think this is going to be a really tough one to call. I think this one's going to be one of those that goes and you can throw a blanket over them at the end.
Yeah, this is it. You could be totally wrong with these because the ones that you got at the top could be at the bottom, and vice versa. It's that close to the league. I've gone for Ray Rampant. I played him the other week in one of the internationals tournament, and I don't know. He just seems to he plays some good balls. He certainly knows what he's doing, and he certainly got the rub of the green as well, should we say? So if he plays like that all the time, he'll do well. I've gone for Joe Thorpe. I went for Joe Thorpe obviously. I did it even after that game earlier. Well, I think I was doing him during that game. But he had a great win last week against Darren Fenner, beat him 18-17. So I thought, he can certainly play. We know he can play when he puts his mind to it. But he just ran into a better player in earlier on the day. And I have gone for Dave Evans, just simply from what we know from past. If he can play like that, I don't know if he can. We'll find out. Races to 12 might be a bit long for him as well. I'm not saying anything ages there, but it could be. You never know. But yeah, I've gone for Ray, Joe, and Dave. Now at the bottom, I've gone for Steve came up, Steve Williams, but in that league it is quite close. I've gone for Steve Tyrone to go down, and Josh Martin. Now I don't know a lot about Josh. I know he's keen as mustard. Says he does this, he does that, does it, whatever. But he got absolutely battered the other day, 12-2 by Ray.
Okay.
So yeah, I didn't actually see much of the game. I literally flicked on for about 2 minutes, just look at the score. So I'm yet to be convinced that Josh is any good. I don't know. He could just have a off day. He messaged me because nothing just clicked. I went, yeah, it happens. We all have it. That when you beat me 12-3 or whatever it was, or no, when that day when you beat me 23, 21-4 or whatever it was.
Oh yeah, I don't like to talk about it, mate.
I don't mind. It is what it is. It happens. You just get like Trasley did last night. It happens. It happens. So Ewan just messaged me. Did his mum wait for him in the car? Apparently he entered the Corby League, singles league. Didn't pay, but then when he did come along, his mum was waiting for him outside in the car. She drove him there and dropped him off, and then waiting there to pick him up. We'll see. So that's a difference. It's going to be a tight league. It's going to be good to watch that one unfold. So we're going to Div 2. I'll go first on this one. So I've gone for, because obviously I do know Mark Brett. He is 8-6 up on Will now, so he's on his way to victory, shall we say? Maybe. So I've gone for Mark Brett because I know how good he can be. Certainly, his cue ball controls. You got to be decent. If you're in centuries at snooker, you got to have decent cue ball control and whatnot. So I've gone for Mark to win. I've gone for Scott. Scott with his newfound ultimate pool success. If he actually puts the time in and puts the effort into play, because I think last year, both times he's played so far, it just seems that he's in a rush all the time. Whether it's just the way he plays anyway, but it just seems to like run around the table and just bash balls a little bit, and there's no real thought to it. Now I don't know if that's the way he plays generally, because I know he's a good player. Anyway, and as he said earlier, he actually got to the last 32 on the ultimate, so fair play for that. So I've gone for Scott. if he puts his mind to it, he's definitely he could be a Div 1 player for sure. He's just got to slow down a little bit. And I've gone for better than half the A Billy. He tells me that he break dishes 70% of the breaks that he plays at home, or something like that. So if it's the old Billy, the fair play, then I've gone for Billy. And at the bottom, I have gone for Will because of our strong Division 2 is. I've gone for Will, Ben Young. Ben, I thought overperformed last year a little bit. I don't know. Never been convinced with Ben a little bit. He'll have one amazing game, and the next game is the worst game of worst frame you've ever seen in your life. And it's like, which one are you? Are you good, or are you bad, or are you a bit in the middle? So if he gets the consistency, he could be a decent player. But I'm putting him at the bottom, and I'm putting John Smith near the bottom there as well. John is a very capable player. He's improving with every match he plays for sure. Very slow. We all know about John and his speed, but it works for him. I'm not gonna moan too much about speed of players this year. I'm really not. But speed up, John, for God's sake. I think it doesn't do anybody any good. So yeah, Mark Scott and Billy at the top, and Will, Ben, and John near the bottom for me.
Okay. So I've gone for, purely on the basis of you putting him at the top, I've gone for Mark Brett to win it. I don't know anything about him, to be honest, mate. So I'm going to bow to your better judgment on that.
Yeah.
I've gone a bit different. I've gone a bit different to you. I've gone for Richie Matthews to come second.
Yeah.
Now, Richie has been probably quite rubbish in the couple of seasons that we've been playing over Wellingborough, but I know he's capable. He's got a table at his house. I used to practice with him a fair bit. We used to go down the Romany and play like first to 21, and he more than held his own. He's actually a very decent player. What I do know is he absolutely detests world rules. So what was happening in that division last year is everybody was choosing to play world rules because that was the option. So now the rules have changed. I think it will suit him, and I think he'll do a lot better than what he did last year.
Fair enough.
So I'm going to go for Richie as second, and I've gone for Matt Toner as third.
Steady player. Yeah,
he's in the semi-finals of one comp, isn't he? And I know that he used to play to a relatively decent level. Now I think when he first started playing last year, he was quite all right. He was a bit average, but I think he's got better and better. He's got better and better as time's progressed. So I'm going to go for Mark Brett, Richie Matthews, and Matt Toner. However, to be honest, like you said, Scott Rutter's a decent player. Phil Pott on his day is a decent player. I find him hard to beat.
Yeah, me too.
I've played John Smythe. You've got him to go down. I played him. It was a handicap comp. I had to give him 2 start, but it finished 10-9 to me.
10-9,
I thought he was solid. I thought he was really solid. In fact, I told Anthony Illingworth to get him in the Blackpool County team. So I think he's a good player. He's slow and boring, but if that's the way you play and it makes you pop more balls, then so be it. I haven't actually picked relegation material in this one, but who knows?
It's hard, and it's hard.
It's just really difficult to say.
I wrote 3 down there, but Ben and John. Well, Ben could certainly finish in the top 5 as well. Yeah, it's so close. There's so many players there that are so close, which is great. We want a nice tight league. That's what it's all about, really. I mean, and that's the reason I said to you earlier. I've moved everyone down to 12 from the 15 because I want to try and get the leagues tighter. I looked at the stats last year. When I spoke to you about it, and I was trying to think of a way of bridging the gap. Should we say? The problem that you've got, we're going to Div 1 now. The problem that we've got with Div 1, and this is different to any of the other divisions, is that, and we've always had this in every single league we've ever done, and we've been doing them over here for 10 years or whatever, 10, 12, 15 years or whatever it is. We've got 3 or 4 players, and over here generally it's been 2 or 3, that are just far better than everyone else. It's just it is what it is. It's been, for the first 7 years of the singles league, twice a year, so 14 games or whatever it was Matty and Wayne, Wayne and Matty, Matty and Wayne, Wayne and Matty, Matty and Wayne. Nothing you can do about it. We know they're the best 2 players. It is what it is. That's when we then brought in some handicaps to try and bridge the gap a little bit, shall we say? But how harsh do you go with the handicaps? We'll come on to that in a little while. So my thinking was originally, as I said to you, we could still go to 15 or 12, whatever it may be, but take the top 4 out. I mean, just Callum, yourself, Wayne, and obviously John finished in the top 4 last year. If we started on 2, for argument's sake, it'd be easier for us to get 1 point on the board, because I looked at the stats of Callum last season, and in the what did we play? 11 games, 10 games. I think 10 games that we played. In 6 of his games, he won 5-2. I think. Oh yeah, sorry. Philpot's just reminded me that he's won a singles league as well. So yeah, there's only ever been 3 singles league winners: Matty, Wayne, and Philpot. But yeah, when I looked at the stats, I thought 6 of the Callum's games he won 5-2. So the gap was too big between Callum. I know Callum, you and Callum was right down to the wire. Obviously, last game decided it pretty much. Apart from when you'd already lost to Emma, so you had to win by 5-2 or something, didn't you? But you and obviously you were beating everyone as well, but you weren't beating them all 5-2, 5. Yours were more 5-3s, 5-4s. Well, what do we do with Callum? We all want him in the league because we all want to try and get better. We all love playing against him and learning still. I'm 48 and I'm still bloody sort of trying to learn the game. You don't want to handicap him really. And quite a few people have actually said, no handicaps. We just got to get better. Simple as that. Fine. That's why I left it. I'll go with what the people choose. Do we think Callum's going to win the league this year? Probably. The fantasy pool would sort of show that as well. Even though I've made him 140 points, I think I've got about 13, 14 entries at the moment, and Callum is in 10 of them. So I'm not saying he's an absolute shoo-in to win the league, because anything can happen. This season we're a little bit stronger in a sense. I know we've lost Emma and Earthquake, but we've gained Fathead. And on his day, Fathead's probably better than them two. Obviously, Dave finished bottom, so he probably would have been relegated anyway. So Fathead is going to bring a different element to it. I know he only lost 15-14 to Callum the season before when he played. But, yeah, what do we do? To try and make it closer, I thought, if we go to 12, then he can only get 4 points. If we can then get 2 points from that, the gap's less, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
As opposed to losing 5. However, obviously, that's less time for us to get to 2 points. But that was the thinking behind it. I thought, it'll all make the league closer if he's not winning 5-2, if he's only winning 4-2, or even 4-3, like he only beat Dan 4-3. Hopefully, it makes the league a bit tighter, a little bit more exciting. If he does slip up somewhere, then you never know. So we've left it. That's why I went to the 12, and obviously a little bit of the too long business. Some people are saying it, not many, but a few of them did. So I thought, okay, we'll give it a go. That's we might go back up to 15 next year, see what happens. So going on to that, I've gone for Callum. I've gone for Callum at the top. I think most sane people would, unless you've got tickets on yourself, Coops. You never know. I've gone for Fathead as well in the second. Every year that he's coming back in now, he seems to be getting back to his old. We all know he was cracking 20, 30 years ago. And then I've gone for you as well. It's going to be a toss-up between the two of you. I think Callum will win. But race 12, the thing about race to 15 is generally, what would you say, 90, 95% of the time, the better player would always win over a longer format. Yeah. I would kind of, I wouldn't fancy myself in a race to 7 saved against Callum. Of course I wouldn't. But I'd have more of a chance. Yeah. Or however, I could also lose 7-0 in 15 minutes. But I'd have more of a chance getting to 7 frames than I would get to 15. That's what I'd say. So the short format might bring other players into play. We'll see. But yeah, Callum, Callum, Chizzy and you, I've gone for at the top.
Okay. I totally get the reasons why you brought it down to 12. Personally, I prefer longer races, but that doesn't mean that you should put the league to how I want it. Sometimes it takes me longer to get into a game, and then I'll generally play at the end. Yeah. So that's all it is, So
last year, quite a few times last year, when you really slow, and then all of a sudden you banged off 7, 8 in a row.
Yeah,
that happened quite a few times for you last year.
Yeah, I play Callum fairly regularly at my house, and we always play like to 21 or to 18. I generally hold my own better at that than if we played him 1st to 7. He won't mind me saying this. I beat him fairly regularly when it's 1st to 21. If we played a 1st to 7 in a tournament, I reckon he'd beat me every time. I don't know what it is. I just seem to be better as games go on. So What I've gone for first three, I've gone for Callum. You can't look past him really.
No.
I think with it being first to 12, and for somebody to beat Callum, bearing in mind the standard that he's at and the standard that everybody else is at, we're all good. Everyone in that league
Yeah.
is good. But I think for one of us to beat him, we need a couple of things to go our way. You need your break to be perfect. You
Yeah.
need his break to go a bit badly.
Yeah.
And you need them shots that we all miss from time to time, and you think, "What? How the hell did I miss that?"
Yeah.
He doesn't ever miss them. He
No.
doesn't ever miss them. So you need one of them days where you don't miss any of them either.
Yeah.
I think that Callum's got a defeat in him. I don't know who it's going to be by. I think he's got a defeat in him, but I still think he'll win the league because consistency wins the day.
Yeah.
When you're looking at a league of how many people are in it, 13, 14, and they're all good players, what will generally happen is even if you lose one, if you're Callum, if you can win the rest, the likelihood is somebody else will still lose more than one. Last year I lost two, I think. The next best had lost like 4 or 5
Yeah.
because it's such a good standard league and everyone can beat everyone. You wouldn't see Callum lose more than one, I don't think.
No, that's
just the way it is. So I'm going to go for Callum to win it. He might not win every game, but consistency wise, I think he'll win it. I've gone for Wayne Gardner to come second. Purely because, well, he's a brilliant player. Wayne is a brilliant player. But the only thing that lets him down, and we'll talk about strengths and weaknesses, is his temperament's terrible. So over a shorter race, because whether he didn't like 50, I think he was one of the ones who said he didn't want to play.
Yeah, he was,
so whether it was a longer race that affected him, I don't know. But whether he needs to sort his head out, I don't know. Because I played him. It was after a county game, and in fact, my head was in the bin. It was the time that I got dropped, and my head was in the bin, and I think I ended up winning something like 15-13. But I think out of that, I think I only pot 10 blacks because he just kept giving me the frame.
Hang on a second. Just 1 second, Coops. Hang on. I just started parking. I want to put one of their team in there. Can you get it sorted, please? Thank you. Sorry, mate.
So if he packs that in, if he wants to do it against me again, I'm perfectly all right with that. He can give me as many as he wants. If I've got 3 balls left, there's a chance that I might cock it up, and I've been known to do that many a times. But if he packs that in and gets his head back on, he's a world champion. He's won the world championships of England.
One of the bugbears with him is, and I spoke to you about it numerous times. But how many times does he just give you the frame without you even clearing the balls?
Yeah, exactly that. And it winds me up. It winds me up, to be honest, because I know he's better than that. He doesn't need to do it. How many of them might he have actually win when someone comes or miscues?
Exactly. Oh my God! He just had a bounce out of the middle, but he's got lucky with a snooker.
Talking about the positive side, though, Wayne is a brilliant player. He's a world champion. So England A, by the way, he's a world champion.
Absolutely.
He should always be in the mix in this league without a shadow.
On his day, he'll be one of the ones certainly that can beat Coops. Without, what a shot from Matt! He's come off the cushion and put in the black to make it 10-2. Off the scenes. Wayne was close up there. I had Wayne written down, then I had Chizzy down, and then I had Wayne again, and then I bumped with Chizzy in the end. But it could easily have been Wayne, and it could have easily have been Kev McCallum. And it could have easily have been John Cairns. Any of those 5, 6. Well, I think Callum's just obviously a touch above everyone. But all of the rest of them, the next 5, 6 is going to be interesting. And this is the problem that I say, going back to what I said right at the start, it's a bit of the problem we've got with Div 1. We've got there's a slight divide in the fact that you've got 4 or 5, maybe 6, as I say, they're really good players. And I think them 6 are almost nailed on to be the top 6. The next 8 is almost like we're playing in a little table of our own. We're all as good as each other on our day. Glenn, me, Fenner, Brownie, Mantle. I can't remember who else is in it, but all of us, we could easily finish bottom and we could easily finish 7th. I'm almost looking at it as I'm playing in that little table, and I want to finish top of that table.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
But that's always the way with a Div 1. We've always had this issue that the top 2 or 3 are always going to win the money. That's why we brought in handicaps, which we're going to get onto in a minute. but we decided not to do it in this league. So, but yeah, at the bottom, I've gone for Fenner, Brown, and I've gone for Mantle for no other reason is that, no, well, just three names. It's as simple as that. It could be anyone. So it could easily be me without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, I only beat Brownie, I beat Mantle 15-14. Daz beats me more often than I beat him. I know I bashed him up the other week on Saturday, easy, but he beats me actually more than I beat him. He's one of my bogey players. Like you said about Philpott earlier, hard to play against. He can be either really good or really bad. He needs a lot of rub to go his way, it does seem. But yeah, he can win. So, but yeah, it was hard to choose because say that you got a top. For me, that's what I say. You got a top six almost in there, which I won't say they're nailed on, but there's a top six that are slightly better than the next eight. But the next eight are all levelish. You know, maybe Glenn's probably just above us at the moment, and I can just say that when Jamie's an England A champion as well.
Well, but, I haven't actually picked my third place yet. So I've actually I'm leaving myself out of this, by the way, but I've gone for Chizzy as well.
Okay.
Even though he's an utter bellend, he's actually a very good player and he's solid. And I'm just thinking this kind of league, you need that. You know, there is never a time in this division where you're not going to turn up at Wellingborough and know that you're not in a game. In this first division, it was the same last year as well. You know, I felt like I'd won it because I came second. Which you mentioned about different leagues because as far as I was concerned, Callum was massive favourite to win it. So to be the best of the rest, it felt like I'd won it. So therefore, whenever you turn up, you're going to be in a game. And I just think Chizzy's got that. He's now getting his head down. He's got that level of consistency. He's a methodical player. So I've got him as third. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm hoping that I'm going to come second or maybe even first. But I've gone for Wayne to come second and Chizzy to come third. Yeah. But as you say, it's brilliant. Jamie's brilliant. Ken McCallum's brilliant. Yourself, you could pick any one of them. Any one of them.
I didn't even mention Tony Stewart on his day. Jesus Christ, what a player.
Yeah, of course.
So, unbelievable standard of Div 1, really. Even the top eight is I mean, it's just so hard to call. Taking Callum out of it, we could all beat anybody on any given day, realistically. I mean, Callum will probably beat us 9 out of 10, but all the others, it's almost 50-50, bit of a fifth of a cost. Oh, for God's sake. Yeah, with quite a lot of them. So it's a great league. And as you said, every time you turn up, you've got to be on it. Because without a doubt, on these tables where they're playing as well at the moment, if you don't start strong, like you mentioned earlier, you tend to start a little bit slow. You can find yourself 4-5-0 down, and then you had a couple of shots. Yeah. It can happen so easily. So I'll keep that. I've printed that out. I'll keep that, and then we'll have a look how close I was at the end of the season.
Okay.
We're going to go on now to two handicaps. They're strong enough. Now we haven't got handicaps in this league, but there's a little bit of furore in the other league about handicaps, and it is true that certainly last season, I don't know if you actually follow the last season on that one. I don't know if you're on that page, but last season, I'll give you a quick example. I know you and tell me about it. I don't know what happened there. Something stuck in my mouth, I think. Glenn and Callum were the top seeds. We're in separate divisions, and we were the top seeds, and we started on -1 or whatever. Other players started on whatever they did, anything up to 4 or 5 maybe, and we played 15 frames. Anyway, to cut a long story short, all three of us won our leagues. Still, irrespective of the handicaps.
Okay.
Just like Callum wins the league, no matter what handicap they give him. Glenn pretty much wins his all the way, and Glenn ended up winning finals day. So the top handicap player still won his league, still won the finals day. There's talk now this year that the league, it just isn't as strong as it has been. There's only about 4 players that are actually worthy of being in Div 1, to be fair. And that's not being disrespectful to the other players, but it's just because of entries, people that didn't enter, should we say, she had to do what she had to do. Now, Callum's on, I don't know what he's on. No, so Callum's not in it, sorry, Matty's in it. Matty Barcock's in it. And I think originally she put him down as like -2. And you look at some of the other players, there's that Craig Cadigan that I've got in Division 7.
Okay.
He's in Div 1 and he's on 4. Now, Matty's going to turn up there and he's going to beat him 14-1, 13-2. Probably no problem at all. So, how it just doesn't make any sense that he needs to be on a lot higher. I mean, the whole point of handicaps surely is to make it even, so that everyone almost ends up on the same points at the end. And yet, I haven't got the last season's table to hand, but I think I ended up on 126 points, and the bottom player finished up on about 60.
Okay.
So that indicates that the handicaps were massively wrong.
Yeah. Well, I don't have a massive say in this. I'm not in that league. I don't know who's in it. I don't even know who runs it. But yeah, handicap should be level. But the truth is, based on the names that you've just said, and based on it being a bit of a side league, I guess, to this.
Yeah.
The people like Callum, they shouldn't even be in it.
Not really. I mean, it is literally Paulsworth. Dan Trasler's in it. Paulsworth.
Well, yeah.
Matty's in it because obviously he's allowed in that one, but that's another story. Anyway, that's enough about handicaps. I mean, yeah, I'll put it in there, but they're not strong enough. The simple answer is they're not strong enough. If the top handicap player is winning the league constantly and winning the finals days constantly, it's pretty obvious that you haven't got your handicaps right. I obviously moaned up on the other side of it because I was one of the ones that was getting highly handicaps. But of course, I'm going to moan because I want the best conditions for me, don't I? I'm going to moan at it. Right, we're going to go on to a nice one here. I hope Scott's still watching. We're going to go on to quickly on to Northants 8 versus MK8. Is it going to happen, Scott? Are you still watching? I've sent you our side. Northants 8 versus MK8. £500 a man, £8,000 match is what we're looking for. I hope he's still watching. What do you think of our side, Coops?
Well, our side's very good, isn't it? You know, when you look at
is the answer, of course, yeah. We wanted to go strong.
Of course, we're going to go strong. Yeah, the idea behind it was to pick. There was two criteria, weren't there? One, be one of the best players in the whole county. Two, have 500 quid spare to put on a game. You know, so you know there are a couple of people that haven't been sort of selected as such, or haven't been asked to be selected, who could have easily been. You know, we only have to look at the division that we're in. But out of the 8 that's been picked, you know, a lot. Well, I think all of them are in the top division, apart from someone who should be playing, which is Danny Smith.
Yeah, Danny Smith.
Danny Smith's as solid as a player as you'll get, and he'd be up there in Division 1 if he was playing. So, yeah, I'd have him in my team all day long. So, I know that we're a strong team. But that said, you know, when you look at the team that Rutter put out, they're a strong team as well. I actually think it would be a really decent game.
I know.
I would edge for us because that's the way that I work. You know, I wouldn't play in a team that I thought would lose or want to put money on it if I thought we'd lose. So, I think we'd win. But I do certainly think it would be a tight game. However, my feeling right now, and I hope I'm proved wrong, is that the game won't go ahead. We've had experiences of Bucks and MK before. You know, maybe Rutt will disagree with me on this, but there's been we were always in front of Bucks at World Wars County for many, many years. We were always better than them. I think they had 1 or 2 years where they took over. They got a decent side. We started to fall away a little bit, and they beat us. What came on the back of that was probably a couple of years of pure arguing between the two sides. We're better than you. We'll play you for money. So, but nothing ever materialised. Nothing ever came about. You know, some of us offered them games. Some of them offered us games. I think the only game that happened was Luke Clinton played Cleveland, I think, or something. I think that was about the only game that ever happened. So. I'd be shocked if the game happened. I'd like the game to happen. I think that we've got the edge on them. I think it would be a brilliant game, a brilliant day, and a brilliant sesh. But I'm keeping a bit of an open mind on it, I guess, right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of set up that eight players each. Everyone plays everyone, so you get 7 matches. I had it in my mind like hour games, races to 7, something like that. Because obviously I always play Scott Rutter, Luke says. But yeah, I had something like that in my mind: races to 7, races to 8, or whatever it may be, because you need to get 7 games in. But it's cracking amount of pool for your money anyway, even if you've made it for a good day. But bear in mind, after these boys are on the ultimate and they spend 900 quid on that and 400 quid of a weekend going away, you'd think a 500 quid match wouldn't be much of something which is for them a 50-50 shout. Then, you know, to try and win some money back. Hopefully that's going to come off. Scott's got a good list of players for sure. I think he's got 10 in his squad, and I've sort of said to him, you got to cut it down to 8 because we've got 8 tables downstairs. And you know, if you want to play in the arena, which we talked about earlier, then you'll get it down to 8 players. Hopefully that will come off, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be in talks with Scott over the weekend, and then we'll try and get some dates sorted out for that. But that's going to be a cracker if that goes ahead for sure. 8 of the best players of Northants going against 8 of the best of Bucks. That's going to be a great spectacle for the day for sure. Okay, here we go. County selection and players' strengths and weaknesses and averages.
You put that in.
I've stuck it on the end there. Players' strengths, weaknesses, and averages. I've stuck it on the end there because it does make a difference. Now, my view, I'll quickly go on the averages side of it. Whenever I played EPA, and obviously, like you, I played EPA for years and years. When I was in the A, obviously, when I'm talking like 10 years ago, when the A was really, really strong, all the top players, as we said earlier, I always looked at it and I thought, if I can win 2 frames out of 4, I can't be dropped. That was my mentality, rightly or wrongly. Obviously I tried to win all 4, of course you do, but I always aimed, and I was really kicking myself if I didn't win 2 frames, because as long as I get 50%, the way I look at it is, if everybody wins 2 frames, you don't win the match. Oh, so we don't lose the match. Well, we don't win it, but we don't lose it. So if I can get 2 frames, 50%, I kind of think I've done my job. And if I can get 3, Brucey bonus, of course. But I always wanted to win 2. And I think pretty much every year that I played, I certainly averaged over 50% every year. Every year, without a doubt, I averaged over 50%. And I always thought, I've done my job. I've won at least 2. So I think I ended most years average 60% or whatever, which is just over 2. And I think if you can do that, if everyone aimed for that and everyone did that, and I'm sure they do, you must set yourself little targets. You've done your job. Now, averages obviously can be misleading, shall we say, because it doesn't show a true reflection of what's happened on the day. Darren Fender will clearly tell you that he's the most dish player in EPA history. The amount of times people break dish against him is unbelievable. I remember one year we were playing Oxford, and he got brought up into the A team, and the guy broke dished him. He then broke dry, and the guy dished him. He then got broke dished, and then he broke dry, and then dished him. He had 2 shots all day. But of course, nobody sees that. All you see is 0 out of 4.
Yeah.
And on the flip side, of course, it can happen. Well, it can happen to anyone, can't it? But the averages can be deceiving, and it certainly is not a reflection of how good the player is. So anyway, but yeah, that's just a little bit on averages for me. So county selection. So how do you pick your county team?
Okay. So I don't know who posed this question actually, but it is an interesting topic, certainly for a few of us anyway, I guess. But the difficulty we have, I suppose, if you take it a step back, when we look at the county team, county squad, and where we've kind of come from, we were in a position a few years ago where we had half playing EPA, half playing Blackpool. We were 2 pretty average sides. Okay, and therefore we might have gone to the Nationals by hook or crook, never done any damage whatsoever. The only time we did well was when we had everybody playing, which was 10 years ago at World Rules, and we always got to like semi-finals ish, something along those lines, when everybody decent was playing in the World Rules setup. So it depends on your viewpoint. Now, my viewpoint is I've lost in loads of semi-finals of nationals. I've also played in some pretty poor county sides. So therefore, if your viewpoint is, okay, well, what matters to me is we get 9 players that turn up every month, and we have, we'll probably win our region because we're good enough. Northants have got some strong ball players in. So therefore, we do that. We win our region. We go to the Nationals. We never do any damage, but we have a good weekend on the Lash. Now, for me, that doesn't interest me ananymore. Okay, it really doesn't. So what happened? Perhaps when you were able to play Blackpool and World Rules, and allowed to play both. I kind of, and I hope Scott doesn't think I'm taking the mantle away from him, but I kind of took it upon myself to think, right, for us to do damage at the Nationals, not just get there, but to do damage, we've now got to get all the best players in Northamptonshire playing. Okay. Because otherwise, we're just going to go there. Everyone's going to go on the Lash for a weekend. We're going to get beat. We'll be cannon fodder, and the same thing's going to happen over and over again. So over the last couple of years, there's been a kind of transition to get us from a poor side into a decent one.
Yeah.
Now, how that transition's gone is the great majority of our very best players in Northamptonshire, uh, the great majority are now playing Blackpool County A. Okay.
Hmm.
Now, what that's done is it's probably given us too many players. Um,
Yeah.
now, the difficulty that we've got, the difficulty that a captain's got for certain, is there were times at the start of even this season where we turned up and we only had 9. Okay, but we've got 13, 14 in a squad. The problem arises when all 14 are available. Okay, but you want the best 9 there.
Yeah.
So it's a real balancing act as to how we play this, and how Scott plays it because he's the captain ultimately. But the issue that I see, and it's not because I got dropped the other month. I'll take that on the chin at the end of the day. I didn't like it at the time, but I messaged Scott the next day. I'll talk about that in a bit. But the difficulty that we've got is the things that are going to win you big tournaments. Not that I really know, but the things that are going to, using it from a football background that I come from, but the things that are going to win you big tournaments are clearly ability is one of them. Secondly, you need to have the team spirit, the will to win, the togetherness. You need all of those things.
Yeah.
Where it's going to be lost is if we have 14 players turn up to the Nationals and you've got 9 in a side, you've got 5 people waiting in the wings as subs who might not be as good as the 9 that are starting, but you know that if you lose a frame or two, they're going to come in and take your place. It's going to ruin all of the team spirit that might have been built up throughout that year.
Yeah.
So what my feelings on this, I don't know who brought the question up, but my feelings on this overall are, yes, we've got to a stage now where pretty much, barring 1 or 2, we've got the best possible county team that we could have. Barring 1 or 2, we're now in a position whereby we need to make some tough choices. There are tough choices that need to be made. So forgetting about, he turns up every month or he does this. As far as I'm concerned, and the way that I would like it, and what I say doesn't go, but the way I'd like it is the best 9 players need to play. Okay, yes, you're going to need a couple of subs, without a doubt. You don't need to take 13, 14 players. But as a result, some people are going to get upset. So therefore, you need a captain that's going to be able to upset people and not be bothered about doing it. But I think ultimately that's going to give us the best chance of winning the Nationals, which for most of us now, we've won the region of county a million times. We need to win the Nationals, and we've got a squad capable of doing it. You look through them 14 players. I mean, about 10 of them have played international pool. We have got a monster team, and I just feel that now's the time where real tough choices need to be made. Otherwise, we're going to go to that Nationals at Pontins with too many players because we're trying to keep everyone happy, and it's gonna demoralise the team spirit, and it's gonna backfire. That's my view. Now, in terms of who that is, that's not really my choice to make.
No.
I would probably suggest you generally find the best players. I would say this because I come second in the league last year. But if you look at a race to 15 in this brilliant league that we've got, you'll generally find the best players from that. You will also find the best players from things like previous national finals, because it's all very well going to Worcester, who are shite, and winning 3 out of 4 because they've given you 25 chances to win. But when it really matters is when we go to the Nationals and we're playing against other teams that have won their region, and you want top players winning against top players. And generally, the people who have got better averages at national finals, I would take over people who have got better averages because they turn up against Worcestershire month in, month out. This is the balancing act. I'm not saying that I know the answer for definite. It's just the way that I'd do it. So what do you reckon?
I'm with you. And I'll tell you what, I'll give you an analogy what happened for me this weekend as a pool analogy. Sorry, it's a football analogy. But it's the same concept. I went to Manchester this weekend with my lad to a football tournament, 11-a-side tournament, and the manager took 17 players. Fine, great, 17 players, excellent. He told us we're all going to get the same amount of game time, so same relation to pool, you get the same amount of frames or whatever. Didn't transpire like that because the first game he goes, well, I want to go strong first game. Yeah, fine. We won the first game, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, the second game, they're a good team as well. Got to get strong on that one as well. So let's just move over. Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. So it ended up that he only made one change to the team. So after 2 games, and that was all of Saturday, there was 80 minutes of football played. And just as an example, my lad played 14 minutes of it. So obviously not keeping everyone else happy. Woke up Sunday morning, 3 more games on Sunday. Oh yeah, we've got a really strong side first game. Yeah, we've got to go strong. Basically the same 11 again. My lad didn't even get on. Fourth game the same, etc., etc. So you get the drift. So, the problem is, obviously, he made himself a problem. Do you go? The problem is what you said. Do you go to this tournament for a laugh and a joke as a squad, or do you go to this tournament to win the tournament? That's the problem. So, if you're going to the tournament to win, you don't want to be taking 14 players, do you? Because you can't be chopping and changing. Are you still there, Coops?
Yeah, mate, absolutely, yeah. And that's where I'm coming from. And you've got to remember, we're talking about the County A.
Yeah.
There's probably 750,000 people in Northamptonshire living here. We're supposed to be the best 9 players representing the county. Obviously, it doesn't really work like that. It's because it's who was available and what have you. But all of a sudden, those things need to go out the window. Oh, we've got to keep him happy because he turns up every month. We've got to do this. We need the best players. If we're a county team, so where all that the loyalty and things like that. Because what you've got to remember is if nobody spits the dummy, and I'm saying this, if I get dropped and I'm not rated as one of the top players to represent the county, and so be it. I'll play in the B, and I would do that. No problem. I've done it for the EPA team. I did play in the B for a while. Because people were spitting the dummy about being dropped for the A. I says to Ant, just put me in the B, I'll play, and he did. And if I was one of them, but what's going to happen is it's going to have a knock-on effect, and the B are going to get strong. We have in Northamptonshire so many good players. You've got 110 players in this league. We should have a really strong A, B, and C. We haven't. We've got a really strong A. We've got a decent C. Our B team are poor at the minute, and they should not be. And when we're standing there with 13, 14 players in the A, chopping and changing, and the B have got 9, and they're scrapping around for players. I looked at it last month. Scott McMillan played, his lad played. It shouldn't be happening. We should be strong all the way through. And if it upsets people along the way, then so be it. Clearly there's a danger with that because you might go Worcester away and you might be short, and then someone might say, well, you didn't pick me last time. So, there is a danger with that, but that's down to a captain to manage and to say, look, this is the situation. Be honest with people, communicate with people. We want to get the best side, whether you're in it or what, and that's my view. And I've come from a football background. I've always played football, and you've always picked your best team. If lads got dropped, they had to take it on the chin, and that's how I've always been. I know that pool players are a little bit different. There are a lot of babies in pool. Oh, you picked him. Oh, I'm doing better than him. I'm better than him, and such. But ultimately, it should lie with the captain. The captain makes the choices. Everybody has to live by it. But I don't believe that we need 14 players, and that's from the A because it'll have a knock-on effect on the B, and we'll be a strong counties team.
It is one of that. I mean, Luke's posed the question on the comments of the Nationals. If you did take 13 players and you've got 7 guys playing men's A plus seniors, some of the seniors may be glad for a break as it was constant pool last time for you guys. Thoughts?
I didn't see it like that. Yeah, the seniors, we've got a decent side as well, and I think we went there to try and win both. So I don't think there is once again, I don't view it as needing a break. You go in there to play pool and have a few beers. You generally do them hand in hand. If you weren't playing and you wanted a rest, you'd probably be sitting there watching it. I'd rather be playing than watching, personally.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying about London, really, wasn't it? About going back to the tour thing. Yeah. You play a game and then you rake around for 3 hours. There's nothing more boring. You'd rather just get back on and play again, I suppose. You might get tired, but over the long run, you want to be playing pool. It's like the same as football, isn't it? What would you rather be doing, running around or sitting on the sideline? You're going to be. He also said the question: your subs are all capable that are in the that are in the A. So in the group stage, you could drop for a break instead. The problem with that, of course, is just going back to what we said. If we've got a squad of 14, what do you drop 5 players at? So if you do pick your best 9, whoever that best 9 are. So 4 people are on the bench. The second game, do you drop 5 of those best players? Thanks for that. About 10 minutes. Do you drop those 5 players and bring in the 5 subs all in one go? Yeah. This was the issue that the manager had at the weekend. He played his best strong 11, left 6 on the bench. So in the next game, if you want to give everyone the fair amount of time, do you then change 6 players? So you take 6 of your best players out and put 6 of the weak ones in? Or do you do a happy medium, a mix, and do you put if I was average 13th player, do you then bring me and the 12th player in and drop the 5th and the 6th best player?
But this is my point really. I think doing any of those things that you're suggesting is probably at detriment to the team. Okay,
Yeah,
because you're thinking, how can I squeeze in these weaker players? We should be thinking, hang on a minute, we've got a county A match against such and such. We want to win. So
yeah,
my view, I'm not suggesting we take 9 players, by the way, because 9 is too few. People are going to have mares over the course of about 5 days that you're there. People are going to have bad days, bad frames. You need to chop it and change it a bit, but 14 is too many. If it was me, I would be now looking, considering we're at 3/4 of the way through the season, to say, right, who is my best, perhaps 11? And say, right, we need 2 subs, because 2 subs is not enough to make change. It's not enough to worry and upset the apple cart, but it's enough
yeah,
to
yeah,
make changes when people are having a mare. 14 is too many, because it gives you that quandary that you've just mentioned. What do? Take 5 players out, make the team potentially weaker, or do you
yeah,
take 3 players out and then you've got other people looking over their shoulders when they're playing, because they're thinking, oh, if I have a bad, you mentioned earlier, as long as I win 2 out of 4, I'll keep my place. You don't
yeah.
want people thinking like that. You want people thinking about the game and the task in hand. You don't want people thinking, oh, I just don't want to get dropped, because all of a sudden they're not playing their best game.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, whether I'm one of the 9 or not, it wouldn't actually bother me because I don't want to go there and make the team worse for sure. If he thinks I'm better, one of the better 9, and I'm playing well, but I'll be the first one to say that I'm not playing very well. Drop me out
Yeah,
because as a team player, that's what you do.
yeah,
But at the same time, any one time, it's going to come right for you. You as you said earlier, we said with you earlier, you're a bit of a slow starter. And in one frame pull, it's lethal, isn't it?
yeah,
Before you know it, you've lost 4 frames and you haven't really done anything wrong. You've not
yeah.
really got into it. You've only had 3 shots. You've not got your arm going or anything. So then do you say, well, I'll keep you in for the next game because you're going to get going this, that, and the other, and all of a sudden a break this against you or one bad flick or anything, and before you know it, you've lost another 3 or 4. It's brutal, but that's county pool. It's brutal. One
Yeah.
frame pool is brutal. You need to be on your game from minute one, and it's one of the brutalist formats. I remember a couple of seasons ago, we actually sort of trialed that sort of format in for the EPA trials. We said 2 frames. I think they played 2 frames or 1 frame. I said, well, look, that's how you play at county. So I need to see if you can handle it. Over one, and actually, Dan Trasler didn't qualify for EPA county because he lost the first one and got the ump here and there. And it's like, but it's 1 frame pool. I said but I knew, of course, I knew that Dan Trasler was the best. It was at that particular day, he was the best player trialing. But
It's such a difficult balancing act, mate. So I've suggested that we need to take 11. In terms of who those 11 are, God, that's a tough task on its own. Because